So I got home after the last video, and I just look up the street right when I walk in my apartment door, and there's just someone at the intersection up the street from me, like on the same sidewalk, and she's just like jogging up the street toward me, but she's just at the intersection over there right when I walk up to the door, just jogging right straight at me. Like that movie It Follows. I've never seen that movie, but it's just like people walking toward you is what the movie's about. They always do shit like that. Like that guy this morning or whatever it was with the red shorts, he kept like walking toward me into the building next to me. He just walks right at me when he does it. And then someone is opening a dumpster lid synced with black and silver cars right now. And then there's a silver car driving in the parking lot, and there's someone walking out, and the dumpster lid is slamming closed, and it's all happening synced with each other. And then she's closing another dumpster lid right as the silver car parks, and then a whitey drives out, and a bunch of other stalkers drive out. I think there's a bunch of black cars. And then there's a red car behind the whitey car. Was it a stalker? Not really sure, but it was right behind the whitey car, so it was probably a stalker. And then there's other whiteys driving out, three of them all at once, and then a red car, and then another red car, and then a whitey with the red cars, and then another red car with the whiteys with the red cars, and then another whitey, and then another whitey. And another whitey as the whitey turns in the parking lot with the white SUV whitey, and then there's a tan car with the whitey and a guy walking out to a truck at the same time, and then other whiteys driving out simultaneous as he walks away from the truck, and then he goes back inside right as other cars drove out probably. And then there's red cars with whiteys right now, a lot of them, coming from all different directions and different distances and locations all at once with each other. From the perspective of my apartment window looking out it. And then they got out of the whitey or the silver car in the parking lot. And then there's another silver car driving out of the parking lot. Driving into the parking lot and turning around. And then there's a guy walking out, and it's right as the silver car turns around. It looks robotically synced with it, and then there's red cars synced, and then there's another red car. And then there's another red car, and then there's other stalkers with white and silver cars, and then there's other white stalkers with the white stalkers perfectly robotically synced at the intersection. A lot of them. And then there's another white car driving out, and he's gonna sync at the other side with 10 white cars driving out. There's no white cars that time. I think he synced with his black car, but I'm not sure. But here comes the silver car though, and he's gonna sync. And then there's a white car syncing with him, and he also synced with the heater on my wall, I think. And then when he gets to the other side, the yellow Volkswagen Bug drives out. And then these two whiteys sync at the intersection right after that. And then the whitey syncs with another car, and it's a tan car. And then a silver car syncs with it and drives out. And then the heater on my wall clicks again when it gets to the other corner. And then a white drives out. And then and then he syncs with this other car. And it's a black car, I think. And then it syncs with a black car at the intersection. And then right when they got to the other corner, I heard a car door close, I think. And then a red car drives out, and then it's gonna sync at the other side. Right, meow. And then it syncs with the whitey. Yep. And then there's people walking out at the same time. And then there's another car, and it syncs with the whitey right as they get into the other car on the side of the street. And then a tan car drives out with a red semi at the same time. And then it syncs with another tan car with the tan car. And there's other stalkers. And then do I hear a plane? Oh! I thought I heard a plane, but I don't think so now. I don't know. I see red cars again, though. There's stalkers. I see white stalkers. I hear the AC outside turning on synced with them. I see other white stalkers with them. They just drive to the other side, and then 5 more white cars drive out all the same time right there, the exact same time, with the other white cars. And then a blue car is turning in the parking lot. Is there a red car coming? The AC outside just turned off with this black car coming out, and then it's syncing with silver cars, I think. And then there was a red and a blue car, I think. I don't know, this blue van is turning in the driveway and it looks synced, and then these girls walked out to this car and they got in it, and it's a silver car, and they got in right as a silver truck drove by it, and then there's a whitey syncing with a tail lift at the intersection. And then there's red sink heads syncing with the other red sink head twice with the 2 red sink heads. Same ones. And then there's someone walking out of the blue van right as another car pulls up in the driveway next to it. And then the other car was taking off at the same time. And then there's other cars on the street that were synced up with those. But I don't know what all happened exactly. And then there's this other girl, and she's walking across the street now, and she's another one. I just know it. She's getting in a white SUV. And then there's these whiteys sinking at the intersection behind her, and then there's these other whiteys driving out, and then there's these other cars, black and tan cars. And there's a red car, and then these people walk out at the same time as the red car and the tan car, and then they get in a red car. And then she's walking back out of the white SUV, though. She didn't take off. She's walking back up the street, and then they're getting in the red car right as she walks around the corner. That was stupid. Oh, there's a guy on a bike riding out. This guy doesn't have a red shirt, though. But those last 2 videos I did, or whatever, the one last night and the one today, the one that I just did, there's guys with red shirts on bikes synced up. That one guy met me twice on the same video, on the last video, with his red shirt. He rode in front of me with the other person walking in front of me the first time. And then when the red car took off, it synced with another red car, and then the guy on the bike was syncing up, I think, and there was other sync heads on the street, and they were doing synced up things. And it was synced hard again, and now there's no syncs, but then there's gonna be a sync right now with the white SUV, and he's gonna sync. He syncs with a black car at the intersection. And then there's another black car driving out when it gets to the other side. And then there's gonna be a silver car. A white truck is slowly driving out the other way. And then it's gonna sync with a black car at the intersection. And then the AC outside my apartment turned off at the same time. And then two whiteys drove out simultaneous with the silver car driving out of the parking lot. And then they're gonna sync at the other side, and there's gonna be other whiteys. There's no other whiteys, but there's this red car turning, and then when he goes in the parking lot, there's another whitey when he drives by the intersection behind him. There's a whitey going through the intersection right when he drives by it. And then he drove out the other side of the parking lot with the red car and disappeared. And then this other guy is walking up, and he's gonna stalk, I bet. Is he gonna stalk? Is he gonna stalk tardedly? Is it gonna be a stock tartar? There's white cars, multiple of them driving up simultaneous. And it's right as that guy walked up to his car too. The guy that was walking across the parking lot. What type of car is he in? Is it a stalker car? Is it gonna sync up with another stalker car in a stalker color pattern? What stalker thing is gonna happen now? Right when the AC outside my apartment turns off, more cars drive out. Like there's no cars for like 10 seconds. And then right when it turns off, these two cars drive out. And then there's a whitey synced up. And then it had one tail light on the whitey. And then someone walked out when it got to the other corner. And then they're gonna get in a car right as this car drives by their car in the parking lot. And it's a tan car, I think. And there's other cars in the background synced up with those cars, and then the tan car is driving out of the parking lot right as the white car drives out. And there's other cars synced up with those cars, and it's just too many cars to talk about. It's just stock tarded out here, and then she started the blue truck right as a red car drove through the intersection behind her. She's parked like right in front of where the intersection is. Like in between me and the intersection, you know. From my perspective, looking out my apartment window. And then another stock car drove by, and another one was taking off, synced with it out of the parking lot. And they're both silver stock cars, I think. And then this other gray car came, pulled up, and parked. And then right when the silver car gets to the edge of the parking lot, the blue truck is backing up, synced with the red car driving out, and my refrigerator turning on. And then it syncs with another red car and a white truck. And then there's another whitey and another whitey and two other silver cars. And they're all stockheads, stalkered up with each other. Stalkered up with other stalkers driving out now with other white cars and other stalkers. And now The silver car parks when a black car drives out and someone else was walking around the corner, and then there's another black car. And then there's another black car with that black car at the intersection, and someone else is walking out at the same time. And then there's another black car with a silver car, and then there's a white car with a black car. And another black car. And another black car. And they're all stalkered up with each other. And there's a tan car. Is he a stalker? That might have been an unstalkered up tan car for once. And then right when she got to the edge of the parking lot, these two whiteys drove out, and then she's getting back in her white truck, and she's the one from before, from the video this morning or whatever. She's just in the white truck that's parked pointed directly at me, and she closes her door right as the whitey and the tail lift drive out simultaneous. And then she's gonna sit in her truck again forever, maybe, or take off this time, maybe. And maybe she'll have one headlight when she turns her truck on. Maybe she won't. I see black cars and then white cars. Are they stalkers again? The black car is synced with the silver car, I think, and then the white truck is backing up, and there's a white SUV driving behind it as it backs up, and then it takes off right when the whitey goes around the corner. And then there's a blue car driving in the parking lot right as another blue car drives out behind it on the street, and then the whitey took off out of the parking lot, and then the blue car is driving out of the parking lot right as another car pulls up and parks in the parking lot. And it's a black car, I think. It's a stalker, and it's parked pointed directly at me now. And it's stupid. And there's a tan car driving out, and he's synced up with the whiteys, I think. It's retarded. There's black cars synced up with the whiteys, two of them. And there's red cars synced up. And then there's a car pulling off out of the parking lot with the red cars and the white cars synced up with the red cars and another white car. And it's a black car pulling off out of the parking lot. Is it gonna sync up with his other black car that is parked? I think he was syncing up with the whiteys. I think he's coming back in the parking lot now with the black car. And then he's driving back out of the parking lot. I think it's the same black car, and then it synced with another black car when he drove out of the parking lot. There's Whitey. He synced with a tan car, and then there's another Whitey. And then there's a red car with the Whitey, I think. Is there a red car with the Whitey? I think it syncs with his tan car with the red car with the whitey, and then there's other cars, and then there's a car backing up out of the driveway, synced up with the other cars with the whitey, and then there's a guy walking out with the whitey. It's It's right when the whitey drives around the corner of the building. There's a guy walking out right there where the whitey drove around, and then there's a car driving by me, and there's a guy opening a whitey door in the parking lot at the same time. And there's other stalkers. What other stalkers? There's a whitey meeting a FedEx at the intersection as a black car turns into the parking lot right now. And then there's whiteys meeting each other at the intersection when the black car gets over to the other side, and then another black car meets like 5 other black cars at the intersection, and then there's other black cars meeting those other black cars. And then the white car is taking off out of the parking lot, synced up with the last black truck, and then it's syncing up with the white car, and then there's a red truck. Was that a stalker? I don't know, but the white car is syncing up with another white truck, and then it's syncing up with a black truck and the same white car again, and then another black car, and then another black car, and then a white truck and another white car, all syncered up. Syncered up. And then the guy in the black car in the parking lot is just sitting there pointed at me, the one that pulled up and parked. There's a white car and it's meeting a black car at the intersection. And there's a car driving out of the parking lot at the same time, and it's a black car. And then I saw someone walking out at the same time, I think. And then they're opening a car door right as a tan car drives by their car. And then they got in a red car when the tan car drove by their car. So what's that red car gonna do? Is it gonna take off with this other red car? It's taking off. Is it synced up? It's taking off, synced up with black cars, I think. Oh, here's another red car. Is it gonna sync up with this red car? Oh! There's 2 red cars driving across right now. One in the parking lot, one on the street behind it. I don't know if they synced up with that other red car from the parking lot or what, but they were synced up with each other though. And then I saw a tail lift and I saw other sync heads drive out. A lot of them. And then one just parked and one's taking off out of the parking lot right now, and they're all synced up with each other and with cars on the street. And then there's a white truck synced up with it, and then they're all synced up again, and then there's another sync head coming. What's this sync head? A mail truck? It's a white van and it syncs with another white van. I think it was a silver car, but then there's this other silver car turning in the parking lot. I think it was sync heads. We can't see anything you're talking about. Yeah, I know. That's That's why I'm describing it. There's Whitey. Oh, he's syncing up with these kids walking around the corner of the building. There's children stalking me again. There's a car with a dim headlight. Is it a stalker? Black car with a dim headlight. My neighbor was talking synced with it, I think. Someone's walking back out to the dumpster. Oh, there's a white truck driving out and someone else walking out at the same time. Right, it's the silver truck. This is at the same time though, it looks synced. And then there's this silver and black car that looks synced, and then there's a white car and it's gonna sync, and then there's another car that's gonna sync. Are they gonna sync? Am I right? Ah! I can show it, but I don't want to show it because it's outside my apartment and I'm already stalked and I don't need more stalkers. Even though they already know where I live, they pretend like they don't know anything. So if I show where I live, then people are gonna do stupid stalker shit. Oh, there's a guy driving out. And he's synced up with cars driving out. And they're all synced up on the movie set outside my window. And then there's other cars synced up with the cars. There's an orange car and a blue car. Is that a red car? Oh, I see another blue car. Oh, the blue car synced up with the white car. Oh. Oh, it was a silver car. I think it was sync though. And then it's coming back around and it's syncing with the white car with the same silver car. And there's other cars perfectly aligned with each other, synced up, synculated. And then my neighbor's talking again, and it's probably synculated. I hear him talking again right now. I think it's synced. Oh, there's a car honking. It's right as this blue car and this red car is syncing, and there's white cars syncing with them, and there's a guy coming out to the dumpster, and he's gonna sync up. He's opening the dumpster lid. Right as the last whitey goes around the corner of the building. And then they open another dumpster lid, synced up with another whitey, I think. And then they're dumping it, synced with another whitey. Dumping the trash synced. And then there's a car, there's a stalker van driving out, and they're dumping another trash can synced. And my refrigerator turned off synced. And there's a white truck synced. And there's another white truck. Right as he finishes dumping it, is it synced? And then they're gonna slam the dumpster lid synced, and then they're gonna fart synced, and then they're gonna sneeze synced, and then they're gonna tie their shoes synced. And then they're gonna put on a blue shirt and walk by me as another person with a blue shirt walks out in front of me. Like that video today. There's two people with blue shirts walking by me, and then another person came out in front of me at the same time, and she had blue shirt and blue pants on. And I think they were all together though, but like they came out separate though, and like she walked out in front of me as the other people walked by me. And they were synced up with their blue shit on, and then there's stalkers now on the street. And they probably closed the dumpster later synced, but I wasn't paying attention. I tapped out. There's other stalkers right now. They're black stalker cars. And then this other black stalker car is still just sitting here pointing at me with his headlights on. And when's he gonna stalk her off out of here? I don't know. Is he just taking to work to go on a stock break? Smoke a stock cigarette? Oh, there goes a white car and it's syncing up with stalker turning in the parking lot, and it's a black car, and then there's two other black cars behind it when it parks. Oh. Here's red cars, and they're meeting each other at the intersection, all three of them. And then there's another car, and it's turning in the parking lot right as the white SUV drives out, and then it's syncing with another silver car and a black car, I think. And it's turning as another black car drives out, and it's parking, and it's another black car or whatever it is. And then there's other cars syncing as it parks, I think. Like it's like every turn that they make in the parking lot is synced with another car, at least one, or like five of them. It'll just like a car will just turn in the parking lot, and then five other cars will drive out from five different directions, and then it'll park, and five other cars will drive out, and then they all sync up with each other at corners after they drive out, and then other cars sync up with those cars, and it's just sync-tarded out here. And then the other cars park, and then they sit there forever, and then they pull off again 5 minutes later, synced up with other cars, and it's just sync-tarded. And then I hear my neighbor talking again. And he wasn't talking before. He's just talking again when I stop talking. To do the sync-tarded thing. Then there's other sync-tards driving out with a silver sync-tard driving driving out of the parking lot, and another sync-tard walking out, and other sync-tards that are gonna drive out when he gets to the edge of the parking lot. Like this silver sync-tard right now with this white sync-tard in the background. Or no, another silver one, and then the white sync-tard, and then another silver one. And then another white one. Yup, another white one with the white one. What's my favorite food? Oh, and then there's another white one with the white one with the white one. And there's a lot of other ones, and there's more of them, and there's more of them, and there's more of them. What's my favorite food? I don't know, that's a hard question. I like a lot of different food. Probably berries. Or mangoes. I don't know. What's your favorite food? Oh, there's a white van driving out, and there's a guy on a bike, and there's a white SUV, and there's a white van. And the white van is meeting the guy on the bike at the intersection, and then there's another white van, and then there's a tan car. Sometimes when it's really quiet at night, I'm just sitting here, and then I hear an engine sound. It's like, and then they drive by, and they're like, da da. The stalk tards, the tard zombies, zombie tards, stalk tards. Silver and a black car. And then that other black car is still sitting there, like I said. And then another car just got out. And then, oh, he just opened the door on that black car. Someone else got out of another car right as another car's lights flashed right next to it. And then there's these people turning in the parking lot with their children. And right as they turn, that black car is taking off finally. And then there's a red car with the red car behind the black car, and then there's a white car with the red cars, and then the black car is driving out on the street right as the red car turns in the parking lot, and right as the lady with her children is walking behind the black car. And then the black car is syncing with the red car again as it turns around again in the parking lot. And then it stops and it turns off right as a white car drives out behind it. And then they're opening the door on the red car right as the white car turns in the parking lot, and a red car is behind the red car, and there's other people walking up the parking lot with their children, and they're gonna stalk a bet with their children. They're gonna stalk with their children. Well, she's going in the door out of the red car right as the black and silver car sink right as they walk to the edge of the parking lot with their children. So, yep, they're gonna stalk with their children. Another one. Da-da! I'm gonna stalk with my children. Da-da! I see a whitey, I think, and I see black and silver cars, I think, and they're stalking, I think. I see a white SUV. He's gonna be a whitey. I hear someone walking in the hallway behind me right as he gets to the intersection. And then there's black and silver cars driving up to it, and they're all synced up. And then there's another black car driving up, and then he's meeting a tan car at the intersection. And then there's a blue car, and then there's a red car at the same time as the blue car. And there's other red cars with the red car. And then there's a white car with the red cars. And then there's another white car. And then there's another, there's a silver car with the white car. And then there's another whitey, I think. And then there's a red car. And then there's going to be other red cars. There's going to be other red cars. There's a red car. Yep. It's synced with another red car at the other side, and this other red car is driving in the parking lot at the same time, and then it's gonna drive by me, and there's Whitey driving out synced with it, and there's a blue car driving out right as it drives by me. There's a blue car driving through the parking lot and out the other side right as the red car drives by me. And right as a Whitey drives by in the background, and then it syncs up with other Whiteys, and then there's other stalkers. And there's a blue stalker driving in the parking lot right now, and there's gonna be other stalkers with it, right? Is it a stalker? Is it another blue stalker? Is there a red stalker around here somewhere? I just saw this tan car drive through the parking lot and out the other side. And then the lady got out of the whitey with the child, and then she walked by a corner of a building, and a tan car drove out behind it when she walked by it, and then there was two whiteys, and then there was other stalkers walking out and driving out. It's just a horde of stalker zombies out here. Again, a different horde. And then I think I saw one taillight whitey, and then and then someone just got in a black car right as another black car took off out of the parking lot, and then there's whiteys with it. Oh, and there's a silver car with it too. And then they're just sitting in that blue car in the parking lot with its lights on. Are they gonna turn off when another blue car drives out? There's a cop driving out. There's a white truck driving out right as it drives by. And turning right as it drives around the corner. And it just drove right by me with the white truck. And then there's these silver cars that drove by each other in the parking lot. And then there's a black car and a white truck. It's stalked-tardily stalkedified out here. And then another white truck drove in the parking lot and turned right as another whitey drove around the corner. And then a silver car synced up with a whitey perfectly at a corner. Then I had to rub my eye and I missed 10 stalkers driving out when I did that. I just know it. There's probably a clown riding by on a unicycle juggling a bunch of red shirts. Oh! I always see this guy on this unicycle thing. It's like a it's like a one wheel like electric skateboard thing. It's like this big ass wheel. And he's always riding around on it stalking me. And then the other guy with the electric skateboard is always riding around stalking me. And then these other big, like, I think they're all like teenage kids. And they just like stalk me on their electric skateboards rolling around. And then there's these people simultaneously walking out of sight as a car drives out of sight. And there's this other guy over here walking around. He's probably a stalker. Damn, and then there's other stalkers. What a shocker. There's a white SUV coming in the parking lot again. Is it gonna be a stalker? He's parking right as the white truck with the red stripe on it drives behind it, and then there's a white SUV at the intersection at the same time. And these birds flying over them at the same time. And then they're flying around the parking lot. Are they gonna come back and stalk again in a second? What are the birds gonna do? Are they gonna stalk again? Was that tan car sinking with a silver car perfectly at the corner of the building? Oh! And then these guys crossing the street, and then like this one guy keeps looking. He looks like he's looking right at me, and then right when they get up on the sidewalk, there's a white car driving out, and then they're gonna get in a car stalk tardily. They're opening a car door right as another car is turning into the parking lot. And then it just drove by me right as these kids ran around the corner of a building. And then they're taking off out of the parking lot in their black car right as another black car drives in front of it. the ones that were crossing the street, and then they're driving forward, and they're gonna sync up with this white truck at the corner of the building perfectly. Good job. And then they're gonna sync up with this other white truck at the end of the parking lot. Oh, and then there's another black car taking off the side of the street when they get to the edge of the parking lot with the black car. They drive out on the street, and a white SUV is taking off the side of the street at the same time. Like two cars just took off synced with that car as it drove out of the parking lot. And then there was a semi in the background, and there's other stalkers, and there's this tan van right now, and these other whiteys and other stalkers of all different colors and varieties. And age groups. You got the elderly stalkers all the way to the infant stalkers, and the dog stalkers, and the bird stalkers, and the cat stalkers. And the cat with the kitten stalkers. Yeah, I've probably seen raccoon stalkers before I even knew that I was being stalked. I probably saw raccoon stalkers whenever I would see a raccoon. I haven't seen raccoons since I started realizing I'm being stalked. But I bet they got those too. All these red cars just synced up, a lot of them. There's a red car parked in the parking lot and syncing up with all these other red cars. And then he backs up and he parks again right as this other red truck drives out, and then this community service cop car is driving out, and it's syncing up with whiteys. The community service police or whatever it's called. I always see those cop cars stalking me like every day. And then there's a white SUV driving out, there's a guy walking out, and they're probably both stalking. And he's walking by a corner of the building as a white van drives out behind it, and then he's getting in a red van. It's gonna stalk. It's the same red stalker van I always see. He's gonna stalk with it right as a red truck pulls in the parking lot, and another red truck is taking off the side of the street. He's gonna pull off in his red van right at that moment. In a red van I always see stalkered up. And then he takes off on the street right as these two whiteys drive out. And then the other red truck takes off out of the parking lot, and it syncs with the red and the blue car. It just goes on and on and on with new cars coming through. And there's other cars pulling up in the parking lot. He's gonna stalk me, right? There's a black car, and he opens his door right as the black car and the silver car sync up. And then there's a white car. And then there's another black car with the white car. And then he's gonna go in the door of the building synced up. When's he gonna go in the door of the building? Did he do it already? I didn't see him. I see whiteys. I hear my neighbor talking again, and then a UPS drives out. And then this, what is this, a tan car? Oh, it's a black car. It's driving by me right as this other black car drives out, and then it syncs with a red car. And then they sync with each other again at the other corners, and then there's two more red cars driving out, and then there's a black car backing up in the parking lot, and it's synced up with two red cars going around the corner, and then there's a white car synced up with those cars, and then there's a white car turning on in the parking lot, and a red car flashing in the parking lot. Oh, she's locking her car. And then she's like running toward me as another red car drives out. uh, she just ran across the street, like straight at me. And then she's going in the building, right? This guy with a dog walks out, and then there's these whiteys driving out, and then there's this other guy walking by me, and then there's another person walking around the corner of the building behind the guy with the dog walking by the corner of the building. And then I think that person walked back out again and then walked back again as the other guy walked by me. And then the guy with the dog walked around the corner of the building with the white SUV. And then there's other stalked hardly, very extremely stalked hardly